There is a whole lot of myth floating around about engine flushing. I know a few car owners who swear by flushing their engine every year or after every other oil change. On the flip side, there are others who laugh at this practice, just waiting for those flushed engines to break down to prove their point. So do you really need to flush your engine? What's the best way to do it? And what are the signs that your engine might need a flush? Let's dig in. First off, there is no one correct answer to this question. Unfortunately, there haven't been any definitive studies to prove or disprove the benefits of engine flushing in cars, but it's pretty clear from basic understanding of how engines work that certain elements might accumulate dirt and burnt oil residues over time. Valves can get clogged with soot, affecting their performance. Pistons might get clogged with a thick layer of burnt oil, and that's definitely not doing your engine any favors. If you complain to a mechanic at a service station about such issues, they'll probably be more than happy to offer you an extra service: engine flushing. In the classic approach, after draining the old oil, they pour in a special flushing oil or transmission fluid. The engine runs on this lubricant for a while, then it's drained out and replaced with fresh engine oil. There are even more extreme practices, like driving several hundred miles on transmission oil for a more thorough cleaning. I'd advise staying away from that, as it's pretty much a sure way to run into engine problems. In theory, very thin flushing oil is great for cleaning out the engine, removing soot and improving performance. But in reality, the oil doesn't come into contact with the parts that really need cleaning. The working surfaces of the valves and pistons are in the combustion chamber, and oil can't reach there to clean them. As for the other parts that the oil does touch, they get cleaned naturally when you just change the oil regularly. This doesn't mean that the engine flushing is completely useless, or just a scheme cooked up by mechanics to make money. There is some truth to that, but not entirely. Some engines really do need flushing. For instance, if you've bought a used car with terribly dirty oil and no clear maintenance history, you might want to consider an engine flush. It definitely won't hurt in this case. Also, the engines that have been forgotten for long years or just weren't in use for a long time could benefit from a flush to remove rust and get them ready for action. Without this, these engines might quickly bite the dust. You should also think about an engine flush if something wrong was put into it. Say you've driven several thousand miles on bad quality oil or with lubricants of the wrong viscosity. In such cases, it's best to thoroughly wash out the old lubricant before pouring in the new high-quality oil. But in all other cases, flushing the engine is pointless. At the service station, they might strongly suggest flushing your engine if it's old, has a lot of miles on it, is showing the first signs of trouble, or has been running on the same old oil for too long. In any of these scenarios, an engine flush isn't necessary. If you want to ensure your engine is safe, just change the oil and filter twice as early at the next change. For instance, if your engine oil change interval is 10,000 miles, change it at 5,000 miles or after 6 months. This approach will help clean your engine without exposing it to various risks. By the way, what are the risks of performing an engine flush? Mechanics might not tell you this, but engine flushing comes with its own set of risks. First of all, the flushing oil can strip away all the residual oil film from the cylinders. This may lead to a situation where the engine won't even start after the new oil is poured in. You might have to manually lubricate the cylinders through the spark plug wells to get compression back. Also, during the startup, you'll just be scratching the dry cylinders with dry pistons. Many flushing oils have pretty aggressive chemical composition. This can affect the plastic and rubber components in the engine, reducing their lifespan. This is one of the main reasons why no car manufacturer in the world recommends using flushing oils or other internal engine cleaning agents. Also consider that if there are many different deposits in the engine, using flushing oil or transmission fluid could be the end for your oil pump. It might be clogged with the deposits washed off from the engine and stop working. Unfortunately, this can lead to the engine's demise in just a few minutes of operation. You might simply fail to notice the oil pressure light on the dashboard and your engine could be gone to the better world faster than you think. By the way, washing away these deposits can affect more than just the oil pump. Particles of flush dirt can get stuck in the fine oil passages of the chain tensioner, of hydraulic lifters. They can clog the channels of the variable valve timing actuators or block the oil channels of the turbocharger. This is an even trickier problem that won't immediately make itself known. After a few days, a blocked channel can lead to the inevitable death of very expensive and complex to replace parts. Sometimes the cost of repairs after such mistakes can be higher than replacing the entire engine. As you can see, while engine flushing has some advantages, there is a whole mountain of drawbacks that far outweigh any benefits. I strongly advise against using engine flushing if your engine undergoes regular maintenance, even if it's more or less on time, and if there are no direct indications for a professional flush of the oil circulation system. Subscribe to my channel and stop wasting your money on unnecessary procedures that might even harm your engine.